What is going on, GWD community? We are here with episode 10 of the Kickoff. I missed the last few days, missed the last few weeks. Last recap we did was over week 7. We've had a lot of good games from week 7 to week 10. Dropped the power rankings. We haven't seen that. Watch that. I'm not going to spend too much time going over those past weeks. We'll talk about potential game of the year, Smalls and Jamie. Smalls ended up winning. W comeback kept his playoff hopes alive. That was a great game. But we're just going to move past those weeks and we're going to start at week 10 and then we'll do week 11 predictions and hopefully get back on track for the rest of the season because playoff is coming up pretty soon. I think this will be this is the last week of Madden League of this Madden season, and then we part playoffs next Monday. So yeah, hope y'all enjoy that or whatnot. But let's go ahead and get started. We had Aiden Murphy take on Griff. This was a blowout, as it should have been. Aiden, a top 10 player, Griff, a middle of the pack in the 20s. So should have won, did win. Oh, also, we don't have Mac Jones anymore. He's taking some personal time off, so we need a co-host, right? It's just me today. My takes are always a little biased, so we need somebody to kind of counteract me. Looking for a co-host, preferably someone who's not in the league, but we'll see. Anywho, we'll move on. We got Bills user who switched from the Chargers, Nicholas, I think his name is, and J-Daddy. J-Daddy mentioned that the Bills were decently difficult to stop in the first half. I mean, he put up 27 points. J-Daddy puts up 50. If I'm the Bills, I like that. You know, I'm happy with putting up that type of points because J-Daddy's defense is pretty good. I mean, you can put 27 on J-Daddy, you could probably beat a lot of other teams. Probably defensively, though, got to hold him less than 49, obviously. Ice Locks wins in a 4-sim. Good for him. I mean, he can possibly make a push for the wild card, and pretty much Seb's playoff hopes are all but over at this point. I took on Rylan. Rylan dominated me. Great opponent. Tough to stop defensively. Amazing offensively. Was really good as well. So warranted number 3 in the league, and I'm on fraud watch clearly. We had D-Bird and Franny. D-Bird wins by 3 points to Franny. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to talk about D-Bird a little bit, but I want to focus on Franny here. He is like I see so much potential in Franny. Like he could very well be 19 through 17 range, right? He has the fundamentals. I think where he lacks is like when he throws a pick, he gets in his head and then he starts throwing more picks, and that's when the blowout happens, right? He has to stick to his guns, stick to what's working, really hone down on his defensive skills, try to limit players from scoring over 30 points, and he'll win some games. Be on the lookout for Franny next season. That's all I'm going to say. D-Bird only winning by 3 to Franny. Like I said, I don't think this is as big of a deal because I think Franny is actually okay at Madden. D-Bird's also real. I played D-Bird. He's pretty good as well. Like he should. I mean, he put up 31. He won. I'm not going to complain. He won the game, right? But you'd like to see that margin be a little bit bigger since Franny's 28th or whatever and D-Bird's like 18th, right? That's a pretty big difference. Tidy, this is pretty much breaking news. Tidy makes holding R2 leave the league. So after R2, comes on the kickoff curse hit him hard, bro. He is no longer in the league. We have a new Colts user that Tidy has to deal with. But Tidy and Roman ahead of that AFC South. Can't wait to see them on prime time because I think that game could very well determine who gets first in that division. We had the Lions and the Steelers. This was a fair sim, not a big deal. Lions won in a fair sim. That's wild. So the Lions are ahead of that division with Tendies and Jamie. So maybe you see the Lions in the playoffs. I want to play him, bro. Good guy. I can't beat anybody else in the NFC. We got Emergent, who beat the CPU Patriots. This was a forced win because EJ quit, but Chargers and forget MJ got his first win, right? So that's exciting for him. Vikings on fraud watch. I haven't seen him play yet, but that's not a good first impression. We got Weeda and Sky. Weeda kept it close. No, excuse me. This was a 4-sim. Weeda got blown out and lagged out at the end. But at one point, Lita was winning. So shout out to him for that. Kept it. I mean, that's all you can do pretty much against an opponent like Sky, who's now 10-0 or 11-0. Wet Like Water and Austin played. Austin gets blown out of the water by a player who I thought was like in the 20s. If I'm like, Austin's like the opposite of Franny for me. I see no good in Austin yet. I see no potential in Austin yet. Hopefully he can you know, push for like 25 ranking for next season. And Wet Like Water, solid player. We gotta really see how he plays against a decent opponent on prime time. Brandon Samuels and Chicken Tendies a forced win. Didn't get to see it. Actually, I'm pretty sure Brandon was up like 41-8, and then Tendies lagged out. So Brandon's still dominating good opponents. This game here was interesting. I didn't watch it. We didn't get to watch it, but according to Trent, he was dominating, and the score doesn't really do this justice. We will be watching this game on Saturday, so make sure you're here on Saturday to see the Chiefs and Trent take on each other. To see, you know, really what Subway is. I always thought for Subway was a bit fraudulent because he's a good player, but I don't know if he has. I feel like he's in that same category with me. We're good. But are we good enough to compete with the best players? And I don't know if Subway's that guy. Trent keeps his win streak on. He beat a good opponent in Subway, and that's impressive. And then the 49ers absolutely destroyed the Mets. Don't need to spend too much time on this. He should have destroyed the Mets, and he did. But now we're going to move on to our Week 11 predictions, and we have a really good week because these are some good games. I played my Patriots game already. I lost. I'll go more into detail on the recap tomorrow. D-Bird plays Wet Like Water. I'm actually going to take the Eagles here. And that is based off of D-Bird's kind of rough performances over the last few weeks. And Wet Like Water is on a winning streak. I think it'll be a close game, but we should see. We had Griff and J-Daddy. I'm pretty sure this was already played, and J-Daddy should get a force. That's probably the most likely aspect since it already says it's been played twice. We got Seb the Great and Weeda. I'm taking Weeda here. Seb's not too good. Weeda has some skill. Weeda by us, by 10 or more. We got new Colts user and Bills user. That should be a good game. I'm gonna take the new Colts user. I haven't seen him play in franchise, but I know he's a mutt cheeser. And the Bills, maybe he has and maybe he doesn't. But I'd love to see this on prime time. It won't be prime time tomorrow, but it should be good nonetheless. We got User and Emergent. I'm taking Emergent here. I think Emergent's starting to find his groove a little bit, and he's gonna really do his thing against the Lions. Lions will put up a fight, probably put up about 24, but Emergent's gonna put up about 40, in my opinion. This is gonna be our primetime game number 1. We got San Francisco and Juicy taking on Tidy. I think Tidy really needs to win this game because Roman already won his game, which we'll talk about in the second one here. Roman already won his game. And Tidy's trying to fight for that first spot. Juicy's really good, though. Juicy is pretty good. I mean, like I said, if he wasn't in that division with Brandon and Sky, he'd be a top 10 player in the league. He'd probably have one of the best records, because all of his losses have come against really, really good opponents. With that being said, I'm taking Tidy. Taking Tidy in 4. I got Tidy in a close game. For sure. Roman already beat Franny. Roman is significantly better than Franny, so this score seems fitting. Franny putting up 28 is good for him, though. We got Tendies and EJ. Don't know much about the Vikings. Know that Tendies is a good player. I'm taking Tendies, especially because the Vikings just quit against the Bills last week. We got Aiden and Jamie. This is a hot take, but I'm going to take Jamie, bro. I don't think Aiden's a fraud, right? But I don't think Aiden's like a top guy. And Jamie has been putting up some good performances against good players. Like, he barely lost to Smalls. He barely lost to Tendies. And I think both Smalls and Tendies could both beat Aiden, right? In a world, they could beat Aiden. Not saying they would or will. And I think there's a world where Jamie comes out and wins this game. Jamie's 2-7. Aiden is, 8-1 or something like that. So, I'm taking the Bears here. And that's my hot take of the week. I think the Bears upset the Ravens. We got Get Down Buddy Naked and Trent. Trent in a blowout. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Bengals have been getting blown out. They're going to continue to get blown out. Sky and Brandon, this is our primetime game number 2. Our main event, I would say. It's going to be tough. Both of these guys are undefeated. Really, the winner of this will probably win the division. Big game. Biggest game of the year so far. My mind is telling me, go Brandon. He hasn't lost in like 5 seasons. But my heart is telling me to go with Sky, and I'm gonna go with Sky. Okay, I'm gonna go with Sky. I think this is the week we finally see Brandon struggle. He doesn't have good run defense. Sky knows how to pass really well. If you can miss that run defense with a good passing offense, you could win the game. And I think Sky does it. 9 p.m. Central. Make sure you're here tomorrow. to watch that, or tonight to watch it, excuse me. We got Rylan taking on Subway. I think Rylan wins this with ease. Subway, like I said, one of those more fraudulent good players. I don't think he's beating anybody who's really good. And Rylan is really good, and he's getting better. You got Smalls, and forget MJ. I'm taking Smalls here. If they can actually play their game, Smalls should dominate this one, especially because he's trying to push for that playoff spot, and you know he has to pretty much win out the season to do it. And then we got BK and Ice Lock. If this game is actually played, I'm gonna take BK. He should beat a player like Ice Lock, but BK also just stopped trying this season, so we'll see. We'll see. But that's all I got for y'all. This has been Primetime episode 10. Not Primetime. The Kickoff episode 10. Like I said, looking for a co-host. Need someone to help me out. Make sure y'all follow on Twitch. Like, comment, do all that good stuff. I'll see you guys tonight. 8 p.m. Central is the start of the first game, Tidy and Juice. 9 p.m. Central will be the start of Sky and Brandon. Alright? It's been real. It's been cool. It's been juicy. I'm going to catch y'all on the flips. Christmas.